Senator Donnghaile, the need for the Minister for Health to provide an update on the review carried out in July by the Irish Blood Transfusion Unit into the ban on blood donations from people who are resident in the North and in Britain during the vCJD crisis. Thank you, Senator. You have 4 minutes.
Thanks, Donnghaile. I don't even think I'll need the 4 minutes because the question, Minister, is pretty straightforward and pretty self-explanatory. I asked it earlier in the year and was pleased to be informed at that stage that the Blood Transfusion Service were set to carry out a review into this ban in July of this year. So I received, maybe off the back of having submitted this commencement matter, a very helpful response from the Minister yesterday in relation to the review. So I really think this morning can be an opportunity for us to certainly reiterate the call that we need more blood donations, that people should actively consider that, as well as organ donation as well. That while we do have to be scientifically sound and medically sound in terms of keeping the system free and safe of any untoward contamination, it has been quite a substantial passage of time since the vCJD crisis emerged, and I do think there is merit in the review taking place. And, Minister, if there is any anticipation around when that review will be concluded, and if there are even any early indications of what the findings might be. Donnghaile.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Senator, for your continued interest in this and your concise and directed approach as well towards it, which is appreciated. I'm happy to have the opportunity to advise the Seanad further on this matter. The remit of the IBTS, which is the Irish Blood Transfusion Service, as the Centre is aware, is to provide a safe, reliable and robust blood service to the Irish health system. The IBTS constantly keeps all deferral policies under review. The IBTS currently has a permanent deferral policy in place for individuals that have resided for more than 1 year, cumulative, in the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland and the Channel Islands, between the years 1980 and 1996. This deferral policy was introduced in 2004, following the first confirmed case of vCJD transmission via blood transfusion in the UK. There is no test for vCJD, and confirmation that someone had the disease is not possible post-mortem. In July, a special meeting of the Medical Advisory Committee of the Board of the IPTS was held to review the IPTS deferral policy in relation to the vCJD, consider and the current scientific and medical evidence on vCJD transmission. It was decided at the meeting not to change the donor deferral policy at this time. It was agreed that a full risk assessment was warranted, and the medical and scientific director of the IPTS has since commenced this assessment. The assessment will consider the current medical scientific evidence available, involving a systematic examination of all relevant literature, studies and reports. Once this is complete, a further meeting of the Medical Advisory Committee will review the decision made at the July meeting. This review is expected to be completed by mid-2019. If the outcome of the risk assessment indicates that the IBTS could safely relax the current deferral policies in regard to the variant CJD, then a case for such changes will be made to the Board of the IBTS and subsequently to the Department of Health. The focus of my department will at all times be to ensure the provision of a quality supply of blood to the Irish health system. Decisions on changes to deferral policies for blood donations must always be supported by rigorous scientific and medical evidence.
Thank you, Minister. Senator, did you wish to respond?
Yeah, very briefly, Donnghaile. Minister, thank you. That's pretty clear, to be fair. And just to reiterate and stress the point that this isn't about running Ramstam into this or seeking to compromise or jeopardise the scientific and medical soundness of the blood supply. But really, this emanates from people who have maybe moved from the north, people who were maybe over in England or Scotland working during this period and now actively want to donate blood. They want to heed the call that comes from the Department of Health, from the Blood Transfusion Service themselves. So it's about trying to find a balance there. It's about safely and medically and scientifically based finding a way that allows us to get to the point where we need to be, where we can allow more people to donate blood, but certainly do it in a way that is safe and is sound. And really, I would just reiterate the call that the Department, and indeed through the Department, the IBTS, don't lose sight of this issue and do keep it under review. And God spares us all, it's maybe something in 2019 I'll come back to. Gormaget.
Thank you very much, Minister.
By again thanking the Senator for his consistency and his continued interest in this issue and continuing to keep it to the fore. And I think you've been very responsible in your approach to it and your response to it. And I think it's to be welcomed that your continued focus, because while it's important we get the balance right, it's also that we get a timely balance right in both interests. And I think that's where your contribution is most helpful, to continue to keep the focus on it. So Gormaget, Senator. Gormaget, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you, Minister and Senator. And just a moment until we